Okay, so something huge just happened over at Google. They didn't just, release a small update. No, they opened the floodgates. We're talking a massive, coordinated wave of AI announcements that all dropped at once, and it really signals a big new strategic push. So let's get into it and decode what on earth Google is up to.
I'm not kidding. Nine major AI updates all in a single day. This wasn't a slow trickle of news. It was a full-on downpour. And you gotta ask, why? The scale of this tells you something important. Google is making a very deliberate statement here. It's a strategic flex, really, designed to show off just how integrated, fast, and, well, huge their AI ecosystem has become.
And yeah, that brings us to the big question, right? What's the big idea behind all this? Why drop everything at once? What's the master plan that connects all 9 of these announcements? Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to connect the dots and move from the what to the why.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the new AI foundation, the engine under the hood. Then, we'll check out the creative copilot it powers. After that, we'll see how it's changing the workday. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at the ecosystem of trust Google is trying to build around all of this. Okay, let's start at the bottom of the stack with the new AI foundation. To really get what's going on with all these new tools, you have to understand the engine that's powering everything. And that engine is called Gemini 3 Flash. Now, this isn't just another model. Google's calling it frontier intelligence, which is their way of saying it's the absolute cutting edge. But here's the kicker, it's also designed to be super fast and cost-efficient. So you can think of it as the powerhouse, the workhorse engine that makes literally everything else we're about to talk about even possible.
And this really is a fundamental shift in how we think about AI. We're moving away from these old models that were super expensive, kind of slow, and really just for niche experiments. Now, with Gemini 3 Flash, we're talking about something that's built for massive scale. It's making advanced AI practical and accessible for everybody. And that alone creates the foundation for a whole new universe of tools. So, with that powerful new foundation in place, let's see what Google is building on top of it. That brings us to our next section, your creative copilot. With such an efficient engine, Google has just unleashed this whole suite of tools designed to, amplify our own creativity.
And wow, the range of tools they've dropped here is pretty incredible. We've got 3 brand new ones to look at. First, there's Opal, which lets you build your own personalized AIs. Then there's Flow for generating professional, super high-resolution images. And finally, YouTube Playables, which is wild. It lets you create interactive games just from a simple text prompt.
Let's dig into Opal for a second, because the idea here is a really big deal. It completely changes your relationship with AI. You're not just a consumer of some generic model anymore. Nope. You actually become a designer, creating these specialized AI assistants, they call gems, that are tailored to your specific needs. And you can do it all right inside the Gemini app.
Okay, now let's talk about Flow. For the longest time, AI images were cool for brainstorming, but you couldn't really use them for final products. They just weren't high-res enough. Well, Flow's 2K and even 4K upscaling completely changes the game. It preserves all that sharpness and detail, which means AI-generated art is now totally viable for professional designers, for marketers, anyone who needs print-quality stuff.
And the concept behind the YouTube Playables builder is just so cool. It's all about turning passive media into interactive experiences. It lets you create a simple game from just a prompt, totally blurring the line between being a viewer and a player. I mean, think about it. This could completely transform what a YouTube channel can even be.
All right, so we've covered creativity. Now let's switch gears to productivity with our third section, the agent-powered workday. This is where Google is embedding these smart agents directly into the places we work, with the goal of automating and organizing our crazy digital lives.
We've all been there, right? Research mode. It's usually just a chaotic mess of notes from a dozen different sources, data scattered everywhere. It's so time-consuming, it's inefficient, and it's the exact pain point that Google is trying to solve here. And here is the solution. Notebook LM. It now takes all of that messy, unstructured info and, get this, automatically organizes it into neat, structured data tables. This is a game changer. It turns your jumbled notes into a clean grid, making it incredibly easy to spot patterns, compare sources, and actually make sense of your research. Next up, meet CC. It's an experimental AI agent that lives right inside your Gmail. What does it do? Well, by scanning your emails and your calendar, it can give you a personalized daily briefing. You can even email it custom requests, which brings real workflow automation directly into the place you probably spend half your day anyway, your inbox.
And the Gemini app itself is getting a major upgrade, becoming a much more powerful agent. Some of the updates include richer, more visual answers when you're doing research, the ability to just doodle and edit images right on the fly, and this is a big one, the power to delegate complex, multi-step tasks right from your phone. It's really evolving from just a chatbot into a true AI sidekick. Okay, but let's be real, all this power doesn't mean a thing if it's not safe. That brings us to our final, and maybe most important section, an ecosystem of trust. Here, we're going to look at some crucial updates focused on responsible AI, transparency, and giving us, the users, more control.
You see a video online. Is it real or is it AI generated? This has become one of the most pressing questions of our time. I mean, as AI content gets scarily good, almost indistinguishable from reality, how can we know what to trust? It's a fundamental challenge to our sense of truth online. Well, Google's answer is an expansion of a tool called SynthID. This thing already watermarked images, but now it supports video. It works by embedding an invisible, imperceptible digital watermark. This is a direct shot at the deepfake problem, giving us a practical tool to actually verify the media we're consuming.
And finally, for the developers and researchers out there, we have the Gemma updates. Now, this isn't about making the models bigger, it's about making them better. This whole suite of open tools is focused on interpretability and control, basically giving researchers a clearer window into how a model thinks, which in turn makes AI more predictable and a whole lot safer.
So, when you take a step back and look at all 9 of these things together, a really clear vision starts to emerge. These updates aren't just random. They all fit into 3 core pillars of a single grand strategy: performance, creativity, and trust.
So here's the big takeaway, the whole story in a nutshell. Google has built this incredibly fast, low-cost foundation with Gemini 3 Flash. On top of that, they've layered a powerful suite of tools for both creativity and productivity. And then they've wrapped the entire thing in an ecosystem that's designed to be transparent and trustworthy. You see, each piece supports the others. It's all connected.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty mind-blowing question. When you look at all these pieces on the board together, the foundation model, the creative tools, the work agents, the trust layer, you have to ask, is Google just building a smarter assistant? Or are we actually witnessing the birth of the next operating system for our lives? An intelligent, ambient layer for everything we do digitally? Kind of makes you think, right?